Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business Interview. I'm Sean Aylmer. Apple has unveiled its latest range of iPhones, and it's safe to say that the tech giant has officially embraced artificial intelligence. The new iPhone 16 comes with a bunch of new features called Apple Intelligence. But Apple's big unveiling well beyond just iPhones, with a redesigned Apple Watch, as well as new AirPods. There's a lot to unpack there. Stephen Fennick is one of Australia's top technology journalists and the editor of techguide.com.au. Stephen, welcome back to Fear and Greed.
Great to be with you, mate. How are you going?
I'm very well, thank you. Are you excited about the iPhone 16?
I am, yeah. This is a lot of people may see this as just an incremental increase. The design really hasn't changed very much, but I think everything's happening under the hood here. We've got Apple Intelligence, as you mentioned, which is, I think, going to be the feature that really draws a lot of new users and maybe forces current Apple users to upgrade sooner than they would have. But there's also, the iPhones, it is the most popular camera in the world as well. And their new camera control feature also adds a new way to engage with the camera, to take your photos, to swipe through exposures and to change the background blur, adjust your zoom, all literally at your fingertips. So that's going to be, I think, a welcome feature too, because as I said, the iPhone's a very popular camera. A lot of people take their photos with iPhone. I did the same thing. I was in Europe for 6 weeks, took all my photos with my iPhone 15 Pro Max, and results were amazing. And the iPhone 16 camera is even better. So I think this one, this is a winner, this one. There's going to be a lot of people wanting to, from day one, September 20, be in line to buy the new iPhones.
Okay, so that's you mentioned the camera there. What else is new on it? What's the Apple Intelligence? What are the input that's putting into the phone that's going to make a difference to how I use my phone?
Yeah, I think Apple Intelligence is going to be a massive draw card for customers, and I think will be a reason that customers will upgrade even from like a 14, which doesn't have Apple Intelligence. So the iPhone 15 Pro lineup and the new iPhone 16 range have the processing capability of handling Apple Intelligence on the device. Anything earlier than that, then Apple Intelligence isn't part of your device. So I think there's going to be a few people eyeing off Apple Intelligence and making that the deciding factor to upgrade. Now, Apple Intelligence is the latest AI that's offered. We've seen Galaxy AI from Samsung and all these other AIs from Microsoft and Meta and all these other companies. The Apple Intelligence it's right in the foreground. It's a default on AI rather than the Galaxy AI tends to be an opt-in version of AI. So you really need to look in the menu, look for that AI, the Galaxy AI, to interact with it. Whereas Apple Intelligence is right there in the forefront. It's unmissable. And because your device knows you so well, it's got context with your contacts, your calendar. So it really knows you, your habits, your routines. So it's able to offer this amazing efficiency, able to summarize things, summarize your notifications, prioritize notifications, be able to rewrite text, create images, create emojis. So real boost for efficiency, productivity, and creativity that I think a lot of Apple customers are going to really enjoy.
So you're just talking about the Apple Intelligence versus other AI and other devices, Samsung, etc. Do you think this is the next step, particularly and I'm talking about mobile phones here specifically?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, Samsung's had Galaxy AI for two iterations of their smartphones, and both have been really successful. So I think the Apple Intelligence now brings it to that flagship level with the onboard AI, but Apple doing it their own way. Apple really, really emphasizing the fact that most of it happens on the device. If there's any need to go outside the device to run Apple Intelligence, and you've got a ChatGPT backup, it's all private. No data will be saved. They won't learn off your data as well. And Apple's actually made a promise that you can actually, a verifiable promise that your privacy will be respected. No data will be retained.
Okay, so this kind of brings in the idea of security, a lot of data being processed, and I get that they're not retaining data. Is security a risk? I'm just thinking this through my head, Stephen, how that works.
No, not at all. No, security and privacy. Apple prides themselves on that, and with good reason, because they are they do put the customer first, in total control of the privacy and security of their device, from their personal data to their health data. Everything's on the device that's only viewable by the user, by the customer. AI is going to be no different. I think that the fact that they've got all these promises in place that they guarantee that your data will not be used to improve the AI, won't be retained to market at you in the future. So I think that the customers can rest assured that the Apple Intelligence will work very well, but not do anything to risk your privacy or your data or anything else.
Stay with me, Stephen. We'll be back in a minute. I'm speaking to tech journalist Stephen Fennick, editor of techguide.com.au. Is there a risk, and maybe this is just me being used to the old way, but when I'm on a laptop, I actually get quite frustrated by the different pop-ups and the different suggestions, the AI suggestions. Do you think there's a risk with the phone that there's too much of it, or is it just something we have to get used to, and once we get used to it, we'll love it?
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of AI, is that it really adapts to the user. It operates like a partner. You're partnering up with this new feature that's designed to make your life easier. And it anticipates things that you may not realize. It helps you remind you about various things, prioritizes things. So I think it's going to be something that people are going to notice, appreciate, and would miss it if it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Let's move on to the Apple Watch. One of my favourite devices of all time is my Apple Watch. I live by it religiously.
Okay. Which one have you got? What series are you up to?
I don't know. I'm going to say it's sort of 5 or 6 maybe. I've had it for a long time.
You're due for an upgrade, mate. We're up to Apple Watch Series 10 we've got now, buddy. The
I know.
larger screen they've had on a wearable, thinner design, also has all that machine learning, works in tandem with the iPhone, of course. But what's really impressive with Apple Watch Series 10 is that its new features driven by the Watch OS 11, which will be applicable to the more recent models, and health and wellness, of course, at the forefront. One feature I'll point out is this new feature where it can actually detect sleep apnea. Now, the sleep apnea is something that 80% of the people who have it don't know they've got it. And so it generates a new metric called breathing disturbances, so that the accelerometer on your watch, when you wear it to bed, can detect any of your breathing disturbances, and over the course of 30 days can tell you if you have moderate or severe sleep apnea, and also provides a report with so much detail that you can actually take that to a doctor to address how you want to address this issue moving forward.
Wow!
So again, another tick in the box there for the capabilities of the device. It's also already can detect AFib. It already has fall detection. All these features. And at the start of the keynote, interestingly, they had a bunch of these of customers, and they named them and said how Apple Watch and the Apple products have not only saved their lives but also enriched their lives. There's people who they had an AFib detection and they addressed it. People who had the fall detection turned on. So this is like front and center for Apple Watch now. Not only does it count your steps, let you tell the time, but also is this health and wellness product that can give you the warnings and notifications if there is something wrong.
Wow, I definitely need an upgrade. Talking about health benefits, AirPods. I was reading that the AirPods Pro will be able to function as a medical grade hearing aid.
Yeah, this is again, and kudos to Apple here. A lot of these headline features are software driven, and they will also apply to devices that you already own. So Apple could have easily said, "Well, let's put out the AirPods Pro 3, and this will only work on 3." And people think, well, do I have to shell out for another AirPod? Same with Apple Watch. That sleep apnea feature will work on any device any Apple Watch that's compatible with Watch OS 11. Now, in the case of AirPods, the AirPods Pro 2, this again is another feature that, and this is a result of these massive study run by Apple as well. They say that hearing loss affects 1.5 billion people around the world. And the thing with hearing loss is that it's not something that happens overnight. It happens gradually over time. So they've got ways to protect your hearing, to make you more aware, but also to enhance your hearing. And in this instance, the software that can do a few things, including give you a clinical grade hearing test, so you know whether you need a hearing aid or assistance with your hearing. And if that is the case, the AirPods Pro 2 can also function as a clinical grade hearing aid as well. So again, another box they've ticked in that health and wellness area. It seems to me they're looking at all these areas that they can address with their devices and their technology, and they're coming to the aid of their customers who may need help in these areas. And as I said, the research shows between sleep apnea and hearing loss, you're talking billions of people who are affected by these things and that could benefit from the Apple products.
Wow, Stephen, we are out of time, but I can't let you go without asking the price.
Yeah, well, good news for customers. The iPhone 16 is actually cheaper. The iPhone 16 and 16 Plus, the entry-level models, are $100 cheaper than the iPhone 15 equivalents, and the iPhone 16 Pro models are $50 cheaper than their 15 Pro equivalent. So if Apple had kept the price the same, I think a lot of people would have been impressed. The fact they've actually reduced the prices, I think that's a great sign. So I think this has been a really successful launch event by Apple. Not only have they reduced the price, but they've also put through these features that are available to customers who have existing Apple products.
Incredible. Stephen, thank you for talking to Fear and Greed.
My pleasure.
That was tech journalist Stephen Fennick, editor of techguide.com.au, and our favourite technologist on Fear and Greed. This is the Fear and Greed Business Interview. Join us every morning for the full episode of Fear and Greed, daily business news for people who make their own decisions. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your day.